I'm very hopeful that I will be the Democratic nominee, and I've said this publicly, to work with him, to make sure that we are, number one, keeping those issues front and center on the top of the nation's priorities, and number two, to work with him the way that I supported President Obama when I dropped out back in 2008. We ran a really tough primary, and at the end of it, he won, I lost. I had a lot of passionate supporters who did not feel like they wanted to support then Senator Obama. And so from the time I dropped out until the day before that election in November, I worked as hard as I could. I nominated him at the convention. I made the case because he and I shared a lot of the same views about what needed to be done. And I worked as hard as I could to get him elected and was thrilled and relieved when he was elected. And I would hope to be able to enlist Bernie in helping me reach out to his supporters if I am so fortunate enough to be the nominee. I also think, we can look on the Republican side. I said last night in the debate, whatever disagreements we have, and we do have some. I raised one last night that I think is an important difference. When the chips were down and the vote was called, I voted for the auto bailout. He voted against it because it also helped some other groups like the banks. But sometimes you don't get perfect choices in life or politics. And so I voted to get that money flowing, to save those auto jobs, to restructure the auto industry. And if everybody had voted the way he did, we would have lost millions of jobs, and the Great Recession would have been much deeper and longer lasting. So we have differences, but those differences pale in comparison to what we see going on among the Republicans right now. I'm interested in results, they're interested in insults, and they are becoming quite masterful at delivering them, which I think is bad for the country. The kind of bluster and bigotry and bullying that we're seeing is a terrible example for leadership. It's a bad example for kids who we don't want to be bullied or bullying. And so I know this is going to be a very tough election. And if I am the nominee, I'm going to want Bernie's help and Bernie's supporters' help. And I think some of them, because we obviously see a lot of research around the country, some of them like us both, but they feel very motivated by his message. And so I think they will be persuadable. Others may be really disappointed for a long time. At the convention in August for Senator Obama then, I had to meet with hundreds of my supporters who had been elected as delegates and tell them, do not vote for me. I want you to vote for President Obama. It was an incredibly emotional kind of meeting because they said, I was elected to vote for you. I'm going to vote for you. So I had to go to the convention floor about halfway through the nomination and move for unanimous support. Because it's important to be united, because we have two very different views between us and the Republicans about how to move our country forward, how to continue making progress. And I think that anybody who voted for Bernie will see how at odds everything that whoever they end up nominating says is with anything we care about. So it'll be, it'll take some time, but I'm hoping we'll be able to really forge ahead and make the case.